G'day, Flosstube. Anna, aka Moranalis, back with another stitching update. It is Sunday, November 4, 5, I don't know, it's Sunday. Close enough. Halloween's over. We had a great night. I'll put some videos and pictures at the end. My son has done a hilarious commentary of a walkthrough of our little spooky trail we set up for the kids in the backyard. So if anybody needs a good laugh, his stories got bigger and better with every group he sent through. He's got a bit of a knack for the whole just making stuff up to be funny. But yeah, so there's that. It's end of year school year around here. My sympathies to anybody else who is a parent of senior age students, particularly those in year 12 facing their exams. My eldest has finished 4 out of 5 exams. I think she's got Japanese in a week or two. But the last several weeks have just been, every time I walk in the house, I wonder who's going to be in tears and traumatics, and because if it's not one, it's the other. It's, yeah. So condolences to other senior parents going through the same thing. It'll be good to see the end of the school year. Unfortunately, got 2 more kids to get through this this process before I'll be done entirely, but a break would be nice. But we are not here about Halloween and high school dramas, so on to the stitching. First up, welcome to anybody who is new. Welcome to anybody who's returning. I always love to get your comments, so if you want to make my day, leave a comment below. Let me know if you liked something I showed or have any suggestions or anything like that, you know. I am still in the she shed that is still under construction. We are getting to the point where we've almost tiled the half of the room I'm currently filming in, so we'll have to shift everything in the other direction to expose that floor, the other half of the floor, to get tiled. Possibly that won't actually happen straight away, which is a bummer because it seriously impedes my ability to do crafty stuff. But my husband wants to put an aircon in this side of the wall building before we necessarily shift and finish the tiling. So this could be a long, drawn out exercise. Makes it kind of hard to film because when he's always wanting to get in here on the weekends to do tiling or whatever it is. I'm like, dude, bugger off for 5 minutes just so I can film. Of course, it takes a bit longer than 5 minutes. Anyway, stitching wise, it's been an extra week since I typically film, so there's a fair bit of progress, but only 3 pieces. I have a fully finished object to show you, and a marginal little bit of stash, not much. Although I did get a notification that my Under the Sea Fabrics is shipped, so we only have to wait for COVID mail to make it all the way to Australia. And one of the local suppliers, the shipment is on the way, so hopefully that one won't take too long to get here. As far as what we're working on, actually, I'm going to do the FFO first, just in case somebody comes sniffing about in the shed. So, those of you who've been around a while, remember the drama of the stocking for the eldest. So it is all finished. I begged one of her quilting buddies to do the FFO part of it for me, and I think she did a fabulous job. So that's the lining fabric that Amber picked, and then it's that fuzzy sort of, what do you call that fuzzy sort of fabric? Velveteen type thing. Probably not the choice I would have made if I was picking fabrics, but it looks nice and it's hers, so hold on. See what I mean about interruptions? Anyway, I have no idea what I was saying, guys. Oh, I think probably not the choice I would have made in terms of lining and backing colors. But then when I basically showed Amber what I would have picked, she looked at me and said, oh, that's boring. Oh. So better that she got to choose her own. So that is entirely finished. I will insert, I did a video a couple days ago of the up close detail, and I will insert that for you next. Hey, Flosstube, just quick, checking in quick with a close-up look at the stitching on the stocking. This was a dimensions kit. Everything in the kit is, or everything, I used everything that came with the kit. It's all the kit threads, etc. The metallics, the kit, obviously, the chart comes with an alphabet, so you can put any name up there you see fit. It did have both uppercase and lowercase. Obviously, I've decided to do her name all in uppercase, because Amber's kind of a short name, and there was a lot of room to be had. Yeah, a lot of little bits of random confetti in that toy sack. Actually, once you sat down and did it, it wasn't too bad, but it's one of those that you look at it and you think, oh, I don't want to do 2 stitches here and there. A lot of back stitching. The rest of the design, like there is back stitching and stuff around, you know, say the edges of her hat, but you can see like all through the beard and stuff. It's pretty minimal. It's just a bit of suggestion. We have cording that was done, and obviously I didn't do a very good job of getting it to lay straight. Some French knots. They're really, really thick. Actually, thinking of French knots, there was meant to be white little French knots in his eyes to be the highlight. But even with only 1 strand, trying to keep him super tiny, he looked like a zombie. So I took him back out. Few beads that came in the kit. No idea. You know, they don't particularly look like Mill Hill beads, but no idea what they are, just what came in the kit. In fact, looking at them now, there seems to be a bit of a gob on the side of those beads. I'm going to have to see if I can't scratch it off. I didn't notice it when I put them in, but it doesn't look super cool. That's a little fribbles. Pick off. Yeah, a bit more gold back stitching and stuff in the belts. This is one of those that's got, you know, 6 different colors of back stitching in various spots. But the chart is multicolored, so it's, you know, red and green and blue lines, so it's pretty easy to tell what color is meant to get back stitched where. The gloves, I'm almost certain the gloves and some other places this green probably appears. The pattern was actually charted to do those as a half cross, and for whatever reason, when I started this all those years ago, I ended up doing it in a full cross. So when I picked it up again, I just continued on with the full cross. That is not meant to be there. I will have to get my scissors out and fix that up. Another fiddly area down here in the little village. A lot of French knots, more French knots. A lot of the blue and white has Krynic, which isn't coming through in the photo very well, but it's got a Krynic blending filament in there to give it a bit of a shimmer and a shine, which looks lovely, but I don't much like working with Krynic. So that'll be all through the roofs of the houses and stuff. Bit putsy in the back stitching, you know, all the windows, particularly those where you got a full cross. I don't know, just enough to find it annoying. It's not really hard. In the reindeer, we had a fair bit more cording and bells. Did a little bit better job of getting the cording straight. Maybe not so much. I find it really finicky to kind of get it to lay nicely. Maybe I should tack it down more. But yeah, so cording, if you haven't done it, is actually, it's the trickiest bit is getting it to stay put while you twist it. And the best thing you can do is commandeer a child or somebody to just plain sit there and hold it while you twist. If you can get past that bit and get the cording twisted up, yeah, it's really easy done. And it looks nice. This cording here is done with the metallic thread. I believe there's DMC and metallic in there, but it's definitely got the metallic shine in there. Oh, I think there was a bit more cording up that same. Again, not laying very nice with the DMC and metallic in there. So that's all she wrote on that stocking. The plan is to give it to Amber when they are having their photos done for formal, because I made kind of a deal about the fact she'd have her stocking before she graduated. Formal is the official sort of graduation ceremony, so she will get it just in the nick of time, and hopefully that'll bring a bit of a smile to her face, because at the moment, in the middle of exams, life is just a bit stressful. So I'll show you a full overview and the lining and stuff in the main video. See you there. Bye. Okay, so I think it's been about 3 weeks since I last filmed. Yeah, with Halloween and stuff, things just got crazy. And I set out that period and wanted to... I was working on Aura of Autumn on this park bench panel, working about the height of the park bench that direction. And I had about half a page done, I think, and then, so I had half a page to finish and then a little baby page to finish the row. And I kind of thought, well, that's about a week's worth of stitching. I should be able to finish that within the week and then move on to the next thing. So that was the grand plan. Between Halloween and the fact that I've kind of been struggling with the stitching lately because my arm is giving me all sorts of grief, that week's worth of stitching actually took me a full 2 weeks, I think, in its own right, just to do that much. But we are all the way across that row now. So yeah, I don't know exactly where it was. I'll insert a picture of where it was when I left off, but there should be a fair hunk in there that is all new to finish up that row. So I was pleased to have that as a bit of a accomplishment milestone for the week, or for the period. When I was originally planning this, I thought, oh, maybe I'll even go up a little bit into the next row and get that technically started. Clearly, I didn't do that. By the time I'd actually finished those bits, I was kind of over this project and well and truly ready to move on. But I love how it looks in the camera and stuff. It looks great. For reference, I still have a fair way to go. So you'll see this project for quite a bit yet. I do intend to go all the way to the top, although picture-wise, it's very bottom-heavy. There's a light post that'll come up here, but really it's just that little bit that has focal picture in it, and a lot of it's background color beyond that. So long ways to go on that yet, but nice accomplishment to get another 2 pages ticked off the to-do list on that one. This one would be relatively easy to do the math as to the percentage I've done. I should do that one day. Not today. I don't know. This fabric is a 28 count, 32 count. I don't know what the count is. It's an even weave, printed even weave. I've actually ordered this same fabric for Oliver's stocking to do it in. I thought it would be a nice background, and the even weave would be more robust than linen to do a stocking front. I don't know if you can hear those background noises, but I'm going to plow through or this will never get done. Anyway, 28-ish, maybe a bit smaller, even weave for the fabric, a printed one. Given I just ordered some more, you would think I could pull like the actual name, but sorry. The other one I've been working on is my typical out and about in town. Celtic Summer by Lavendar and Lace. This is the original color scheme, what she'll look like, and this is my drag around town for whatever doctor's appointment, kids activity, whatever I'm doing. This basically just lives in the car and I work on it and those sort of things. So this time it was, well, there was one doctor's appointment, there was the kids award ceremony, there was a kids end of year concert. I actually haven't had to do things like the Boy Scouts run as much because with my eldest having a driver's license, she's taken on some of that, which is really nice. So that's where she's at now. This is for anybody that's new. This is a color conversion, obviously, my tropical sunset colors. As far as what I've done this last bit, I finished out the word summer. These medallions at least have their gold all the way to the top. I finished off, because now I knew where summer ended, I finished off all those threads that were dangling at the top. So there's a couple of those rows at the top that are finished, a couple that need a bit more. I finished up things like the gold around the bottom of her skirt. There was a couple of stitches missing in the gold of her bodice. I think the entire basket is new. I did that at the kids' end of year music concert. And she now has a little cuff on her sleeve. So little random bits and pieces here and there and everywhere. So yeah, she's looking really good. She's not that long, I think, before she will be ready to start the beading on her, which will be interesting to see how we go with the beading, because since I changed the colors, I also changed the beads. Fingers crossed that'll work all right. Yeah, this is definitely a 28 count cashel fabric, dyed myself. Just red dye. Can't even remember the color of the bottle. I'd have to go digging and see what the color of the bottle was. But just plain old red dye. The last one I worked on is the world map. So I had done those 3 pages with the arch, and so now I'm starting the balloon. Now, last time I worked on this, basically those 4 pages filled most of an 11 by 11 Q-stamp. I couldn't do another full page either to the side or the bottom without moving the Q-stamp. And because this thing has such a massive load of fabric, I'm kind of struggling to get the fabric to stay put around the Q-stamp. I was toying with the idea of whether I should do a 17 by 17 Q-snap. A, just fit that little bit more fabric, and B, give me more pages to work on without shifting the Q-snap. But I'm too stingy to actually just go buy one when I don't know I want one, so I borrowed one off a friend. And actually it's a 17 by 11, but I think it proves the experiment. So it's now on a bit of a larger Q-snap. The fabric is still a nightmare to maintain, so I don't think that has helped at all. But you can see I've just started. I think I've got like 1,000 stitches in this page, so you can just see the corner of that balloon coming in. As for the Q-snap size, I've decided I don't really want to go the 17 by 17 route. The 11 by 17, like I had visions of being able to kind of prop it on my recliner chair that I stitch in. And to some extent, if I switch to a two-handed stitching, where my right hand is always underneath the Q-snap, it is doable, but I don't tend to stitch like that by default. It's a real battle and real uncomfortable for me to stitch like that. I tend to want to, even in a Q-snap, my right hand does all the work, up and down. And I expect that's just a hangover from the fact that all these years I only ever stitched with my right hand, but in hand doing the sewing method. So the left hand's just holding stuff. It doesn't do anything. But with my arm under the Q-snap, there's no way I'd reach up 17 inches. You know, it's all I can do to reach the top of these pages as it is at only 11 inches high. So another 6 inches isn't going to be usable. And the extra width, when I keep wanting to pull my arm around it, that extra width is always in the way. So I expect I probably will end up going back to the 11 by 11 Q-snap. But for this page, at least, I'll finish it out where it is, just because I don't want to shift it. It's a real nuisance to wrangle all this extra fabric into in and out of a Q-snap. So now that it's here, it's staying put till I finish the page. I did do the maths on this one last night, and at some point, it may have even been in the previous page, but at some point I did pass the 2% mark. It's at like 2.2%. So we got a ways to go, guys. Okay, so stash. I don't think I showed this last time, but apologies if it's a duplicate because I can't remember. Back to the stocking drama. So eldest stocking is finished. Stocking number 2, we're doing the Coastal Lighthouse, which you could probably see in one of the earlier videos if you're interested. It's out of a Stony Creek magazine, and that's for my youngest son. And the middle one caught sight of this Bellafina Designs pattern and said, "Mom, do that instead of a stocking." So this is her stocking. Yeah, so this is Enchantress of the Abyss by Bellafina Designs, and I know I've showed this one because this came in a couple of weeks ago, and I've been struggling with the beads on Pearl of the Orient Seas, so I decided to order Delica beads to replace those. So those Delica beads have all showed up. You can see there's some of them are the small size ones. Take some of them out of the packet. We have, those are the Bugles beads. One of the larger ones. I don't know how well this color will show up. So those are the typical 11-0 size. And there are several of those in different colors. Some of the colors I've taken very much a punt on whether or not these are going to look good. So this will be an exercise in, as we get to beading, seeing how things look. The Enchantress of the Abyss has some of the really bulky 6/0 and 8/0 beads that I don't really like the way they look on the Pearl of the Orient. So I've swapped them all out for DBL prefix on their numbers, which I think are the equivalent of the 8/0s. So all the 6s and the 8s will be these, because the 8s don't bother me so much. It's really the 6s I don't like in their bulkiness. So there's several of those. The treasures, when I went looking, I couldn't find the called for treasures. So again, these two are just a bit of a punt. One of them will get used. I'm not sure which. I'll around some more. You can see the front. Those are a bit more multicolored, and those are bright red. I'm thinking the multicolored ones are going to win, but it was really hard to tell on the website which ones were likely to be the ones I wanted based off the images, so I figured just get both of them. They weren't that expensive. And besides, the packs are a little bigger, so you don't need as many as you do, say, a Mill Hill pack where there's only 2 or 3 of each flower in a packet. And then those sort of bicone shapes in a purpley color. So I think I said before, this is going on one of the Under the Sea fabrics that is coming from the US. So when that eventually shows up, I will have to get off my bum, get the DMC that goes along with her. I probably ought to look and see whether there's any water lilies or anything like that in her. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I should do that. But I'll at least try and get the beads, the DMC, the fabric all together so that I've got enough that I can make a yes, I like this, no, I don't decision and get that project started. My guess is by the time that actually shows up, I'll probably be ready to start it, because hopefully I will have the Pearl of the Orient Seas totally beaded by that point. Although with everything else that's been going on, I haven't looked at her in several weeks. So much for doing a string of beads a day, because I just have not had the brain power and enthusiasm to tackle that in the last several weeks. I think that's about it here. Just a warning, it may be several weeks again before I see you, just with the upheaval in the craft room and trying to get some quiet time to film. It's a bit hit and miss, but I'll be back when I can. Until then, happy stitching, keep safe, have a good day.
So we're about to go for a walk down the spooky, very haunted trail that has home to many of the rarest creatures in the world. We've got one of Pipe Man, the only drop bear left, plus the rarest creature in the world. We're very lucky to see him. He's very shy. Frankie Roo. He kills people, by the way. That's why it's very haunted. So, that's Peter Pipe Man. Last of his kind, very scary, although he's very shy and doesn't like being shamed. So we all love him. Special ability is glowing in the dark, as you can all see. He's very self-conscious. Now if you guys would like to follow me down to our really spooky path. So we have 2 options. Yes or no. I think we should go yes, as in, yes, let's go this way. Here, we have the sign to nowhere, yes, everywhere. So if you guys would like to look, we have safety and security back the way you came, the path you see, and Dreams, 6 feet that way. This one is Elm Street, Despair and Suffering, 1,992.5 kilometers. Happiness and Enlightenment, 1,993 kilometers. So that you have to go through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering to be happy in life. And we have Halloween Town, it's over there. The Pet Cemetery, it's over there. Pennsylvania, it's over there, because, you know, we've got our big manor. And Dr. Frankenstein's lab. So, shall we go to the passenger seat? So we'll go past the court of the 3 people that created this path. So, you know, gotta respect them. These are our leaders. There you have the drop bear that will steal Halloween candy. So he only comes out at Halloween. So we're very lucky to see him. This is the day after Halloween. He should be hiding off in the bush somewhere over there. He decided to make a special appearance. So we're all very happy, but don't let him anywhere near your Halloween candy. Otherwise it will be gone. So, shall we properly enter our path? I must warn you, before we enter this, before you cross this line, you will find some very creepy and very scary things. So if you are too much of a wimp, back down now. No? Okay, come on. Just up there we have Frankie-Roo, the one and only killer kangaroo. So right now he's feasting, so you don't want to get in his way. He's only killer kangaroo in the world. But he's best friends with Drop Bear over there. Drop Bear drops on the young child that he wants the candy off of. So they jump down. He takes the candy. While the children are sitting there crying, Frankie-Roo comes over, drags them to his little copse in the woods, and eats them. So every year, come out and we'll find that. They love the little girls. So we think that one was Little Red Riding Hood. We all know Drop Bear smelt the candy in her basket. Now if you follow us down Spooky Street, right here we have our Cobwebs of Doom. So, gotta go through. Come on. So there we have the blinking eyes of death. Stare at them too long, they'll die. There we have the road to nowhere, where all my friends have ventured, including me, and gotten nowhere in life. That's what it signifies. Then we have Cobweb Court just over there. Remember, don't look with spooky eyes. You'll die. There we have all of our ghosts and ghouls. They were the first people to go around this path. Of course, they didn't know the proper precautions. They didn't have Bandy the Bounty Hunter, and they all died. They forever haunted this place, but with me here, they won't come at you. Now, if you follow me down Deadly Drive, we'll go to the one, the only amazing graveyard, where those poor souls have been buried. This is a very spooky place. But on this gravestone right here, we have Homer and Genocide, the only couple to be buried here. So those were the 2 ghosts over that side. We have I'm a Rotten, weirdest name he had, but can't fault him for that. We had Is He Dead Yet? Another one of the weirdest names. We had Don XQ. His last words were to put my last planet, standing too long in wet cement. I don't know why. He clearly died in there. We have Unknown. He didn't have his passport and travel details on him. And the other guy wanted a meme on his Greystone, so of course we obliged and put 4 rent. 1 small room, neighbors are dead quiet. So of course, he'll probably be the happiest of the ghosts. That concludes our tour. I hope you guys didn't take a dump in your pants. So now, we shall exit Trail of Doom and head back to the safety of our cottage.